Good morning, everyone. This is MLA Handbook 9th edition. We are continuing our explanation with certain chapters, very important parts of the methodology. That is, we are in documenting sources and overview. We have already finished up a briefing of the same. We know why plagiarism is a serious matter, how to avoid it, so that in class we have been looking at certain examples. In different other sessions, we have been dealing with certain examples of how to quote, how to take other resources, how to make use of other resources, but at the same time, how to acknowledge it. So, this is it, acknowledging the external resources, the authors, the owners of an idea. This is what you mean by documenting resources. And though we could see how to do that properly. And that's what you mean by methodology. Research methodology is not just saying this person wrote it or this is from such and such person. But there is a proper structure of doing it. And I took you to the library. We took different types of textbooks. Not just sometimes we have textbooks like by one author. We saw textbook by two authors, more than two authors, some edited text, translated text, and we saw how to collect the details, major details for preparing the work cited list. So when do you cite a work? Work citation happens actually at the end of the session, end of our writing. Only at the end we have the preparation of works cited list. So avoiding that plagiarism. It's about documenting the sources, and we saw how to do that. But here, as the fifth chapter, we have the list of works cited. For that, what all details we need about any text, whichever text it may be, not just our primary resource, but whichever text we are referring, we need certain details. Do you remember that actually? We took a lot of text from the library. When we collected the details, we took it down. I entrusted some of you to type it and send back. None of you did it. So happy about it. So actually, this is about making it in the proper order. Where to put a full stop, where to put a comma, where to put again a full stop. So how to separate each part of it. So after author's name, we have to get the name of the text. Name of the text should be in italics if it is a textbook length publication. If it is a short story or if it is the name of an article or poem, that is different. That is to be given in double quotes. Yes. So the way to separate, distinguish each term is different. Now, this is the fifth part that takes us to the list of works cited. But see, only after you are citing, making the citation, you can go for this. Means after, if you are citing a resource, you have all the details like creating and formatting entries. That's what we did with the text that we took or selected from the library, and we took down the core elements. MLA, core elements. What are the core elements? Let us just go back to that. Go to that. So this about, see, these are the core elements. First one, maybe author, name of the author that we created. Publication date can include an actual date of publication. So certain elements are there, like a date of composition for unpublished material, the date a performance was attended, and other dates relevant to the work you are citing. Each core element is named with a shorthand label that covers a range of situations. Just an example with the publication date. In the case of a textbook, it can be the year of publication. But think about not just books, we can opt for different kinds of materials nowadays. You can quote from a YouTube session. You can quote from a conversational piece. Even certain quotes written on certain posters you can now you can select and you can quote if you find it relevant to your topic. So that is the way, a performance. So that ranges. It's not always literal. It's not always constant, but we have an idea. If it is a book, it can be the year of publication. If it is a performance, if it is a web series, you can mark down that publication time to be the time during which it was getting broadcast. It's a broadcast time of its broadcast. So this is the way it changes. So that's an example only. But we have core elements in MLA. We have core elements. Yeah, this is the part that shows about the core elements. Beyond time. Core elements. Now you know, we have already seen this. The core elements in MLA. We have the major creating, formatting entries. We collected this author. Then you put a full stop. Then title of source means what? Name of the text. Mainly the name of the text. So this is the list of works cited. How to create it. After author, you put the title of the source. Then you may be confused. It may be confusing because title of the source after the title of the container. When does it come actually? It comes when you have a short story. You are opting, you are selecting, you are quoting from a short story or you are quoting some lines of a poem. But that poem is already part of a collection which is there as a text. Then it is the title of the source may be the poem or the short story or the article, and title of container may be the text which includes the poem or the short story or the article. Hope it is clear. Author should be the author should be the, if you are quoting directly from the poem, the author should be, the name of the author should be the name of the author of the poem itself. Then title of the container means a person who compiled that collection. Then contributor means the title of the container may have an editor or a collector or a compiler. So that may be the way it goes with. Then version number, publisher. Version number, you may avoid those parts if a text doesn't show that. But publisher's name is must. Sometimes you have the edition, the details regarding the edition. Sometimes the text may be some 7th or 8th edition. Now itself you see. This is the 9th edition of our MLA handbook. So publisher's detail. Then publication date. Definitely means the year of publication. You don't have to get it as you give some date of birth and something. With a date, day, month, year. It's not needed. Just publication year is enough. Then location means if you have the page number, it's good. Otherwise, you can leave it. If you have a range, like if you select certain pages of a text, you can get the range. There is a way of doing it. MLA handbook shows the method of doing it. So these are the major details that we selected. Hope you remember. Author, title of sources. Actually, source. We did it in a very simple way. Most often we have that method itself. That's enough. More than enough. Most often that is more than enough. Like author's name, mainly in the reverse order. We took a lot of examples with familiar and unfamiliar names, with the names in your own class. We did how to reverse it, sometimes with the two names, given name and surname. First name and surname. Some of your names with the initials. Some with a name, then initial, then another name. So all these varieties we checked in the class. We did have a practice session in the class. Okay, so here it is about we did it just with author and title of source, then directly went to write down the publisher's detail and year of publication. Enough. Most often that those details will do. Okay, so this is the way we have to create these core elements, but sometimes some varieties can be seen, like title of container detail first, then container details too. These are complications. Very rarely this happens. This happens very rarely. So we have to see whichever text we select. We have to look at the major resources, major details like author element, then title of the source, then you can definitely think about the contributor, publisher's name, year of publication. Then if you have a page range, it's fine. Otherwise, you can leave it. Page range means if you want to be very specific. From this text, I selected the pages that I caught it from such and such pages. If you want to make it very specific, you can add that as well. ഓക്കെ, ഇവിടെ ഈ ഒരു ടൈറ്റിൽ ഓഫ് സോഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ടൈറ്റിൽ ഓഫ് കണ്ടെയ്നർ വന്നിട്ടുള്ളത് പിന്നെ ഒന്നുകൂടി നോക്കുക എന്താണ്, ചിലപ്പോൾ ഒരു പോയം നമ്മൾ തന്നെ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, ചില ടെക്സ്റ്റുകളുടെ ഉള്ളിലായിരിക്കും പല ആൾക്കാരുടെ പോംസ് കളക്റ്റഡ് ആയിരിക്കും. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കളക്ഷൻസ് ഒരുപാടുണ്ട്. ഷോർട്ട് സ്റ്റോറീസ് എല്ലാം എഴുതിയത് ഒരാളായിരിക്കില്ല, ബട്ട് ഓൾ ദോസ് ഡിഫറെന്റ് റൈറ്റേഴ്സ്, ഡിഫറെന്റ് ഷോർട്ട് സ്റ്റോറീസ്, ഡിഫറെന്റ് പോംസ് ഒരാൾ കളക്ട് ചെയ്യും. അതാണ് ടൈറ്റിൽ ഓഫ് കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ടർ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ ഒന്നുകിൽ വരിക. ആ ഒരു കമ്പൈലർ, ദ പേഴ്സൺ ഹു കമ്പൈൽഡ് ഓർ എഡിറ്റഡ് മേ ബി ടേക്കൺ ആസ് ദി കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ടർ. നമുക്കത് രണ്ടുപേരെയും അക്നോളജ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് അതങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Sometimes same author compiles, same author himself or herself compiles the whole poem, collection of poems, so that there is no need of another contributor. Just പറയുന്ന ആളുടെ പേര് എഴുതിയാലും മതി, enough. Okay, so this is the way this goes on. Okay, so here fifth main part, that is the list of the works cited with the MLA core elements. We have already seen that. Here author, what it is, author, where to find it, author, how to style it. Just let us go with the content first. What it is. So where to find it? We took a lot of text, and so where it is, well, how to find it. Sometimes most often on the cover page itself you can find the name of the text as well as the author's details. For other elements you have to go to the copyrights page or at the back side for the logo or to make sure of the name of the publisher. We took different types of text. There is no consistency as such. So sometimes we find it very difficult with the year of publication or sometimes with the name of the publisher. So to locate those, it's very important to locate that easily well. So one author, two authors, three or more authors. We saw with a lot of different kinds of texts. Sometimes where you have to reverse the name, where you don't have to reverse the name. With certain languages that lack surname. Some languages, sometimes we have to select the text. Sometimes you may ask, why are you thinking, why do we talk about languages other than English? Some languages, even the names, the order or the way names are given itself is different. In English, we have the practice of capitalizing the first letter of the proper name. We don't write down the name Ashwati without A without capital. Fatima without F without capital, because in English it is demanded. In Malayalam we don't have capital letters and small letters, so there is no difference as such. In Spanish you don't capitalize the name of something, so that is the way you have a difference there. Different languages, different styles, so sometimes at least we have to see at least the differences. That's why it is given in that way. Then variant forms of a personal names. This may be very important. Variant forms of a personal names. Different spellings, pseudonyms and name changes. When you have different spellings, you have to make it very consistent. That's all. At one part of your writing, you select, you write down, you type down one way of their name, one spelling, and in another part of your own text you don't have the provision to select another way method. So that's it. We make it consistent. Lack of then pseudonyms and name changes. Sometimes some writers have pseudonyms, sometimes pen names which may be more prominent and famous than the real name. So you have the freedom to use the pen name, the famous name. When not to supply information, cross-reference or use the published form of a name. With the names, personal names, if you have doubt, you have to go to this session. Importantly, it's a 5.2, you have to go and see how it is given. Online handles, organization groups and government authors. Sometimes certain, instead of one author, sometimes certain government bodies, institutional groups take the publication. So that that name is to be given instead of the author's name. Very rare cases, but that happens. So listing by name, how to do that? Avoiding redundancy, government authors. Okay, so that is the way. Sometimes when you have a text at hand in that way, then you have to go for this reference. Standardizing and supplying information, consolidating entries. Consolidating. What do you mean by consolidating? Think about your own consolidated mark list. So from that you take the idea. You have some 4 papers in the semester or 5 papers in a semester. Different teachers deal with that. Different teachers take the internal assessment tasks. Sometimes a paper that is shared between two teachers. With one teacher, one faculty, you go for assignment. You submit the assignment. The other one takes care of the seminar presentation or Viva OC. At the end, there is a person who is in charge of the paper, and he or she prepares the mark list. But at the end, four or five papers together, the whole marks are collected and consolidated by the faculty in charge of a class, maybe a class advisor. So this is the way consolidation happens. So these entries also have to be done in that way. We collect all those details. I told you how to make use of that entries, how to put that entries in a correct way, how to collect at least. That's why I told you whenever you get a textbook, as a first part of using it, you take a picture of the cover page and immediately after that the copyright page. So anyone who is pursuing research can do this. Can be a very commendable method, because even writing, sometimes you may likely to have confusion. And then, is it reversed name or the real name? William Shakespeare, you don't have a confusion. Even if it is given in the reversal order, even if it is given if it is given in the right order or the reversed order, you can immediately identify. It's William Shakespeare, it's right order. Shakespeare, William, it's the reversed order. But all the authors, we do not have that much familiarity. We are not familiar with all the authors and their names. Kamala Das, Kamala. We are familiar with the writer, the name. But what about other writers, the new writers, or even some writers whom we are not really familiar with, their real name, surname? We don't have the idea. So it's good that we take the picture from the text itself. Very cover page and the copyright page. Most of the details you get from there. So that's how at the end you can consolidate entries. Just taking that example, we had this session. We took this in this way. So just an example how to do this. You can make use of any of the scanners available in your devices. Whenever you get a text, you take a text. Yes. The first one, you take the cover page. You take the picture of the cover page. Then there itself you get the name of the text, then name of the writer. Then immediately after that you may take the copyright page. So most of the details that you need may be available there. The publisher's name, year of publication, everything you may get there. Otherwise, at least as a logo at the back side of the text. So this is the way you have to take the details from whichever text you can collect the details. So this is a text with one author. That's why we selected it accordingly. This is a text with by two authors, but there is already an edited text as well. So we get that much. One more example. An edited text. We have to add it as editor or editors. If two persons are there, you have to add editors. In the case of a text with the two authors, first one's name should be in the reversed order. C.N. Ramachandran. Ramachandran, C.N. and then the other one. In the right order, Ratha Achar should not be reversed. And the other details like publisher, Trinity. Then year of publication, I told you. Sometimes many year of publication reprinted in many years may be given, but logically we may select the latest year, last year given there. Because obviously that is a pure logic that we are applying. Then regarding another text, we selected a text with more than two authors. So that's very simple actually. Only the first person's name in the reversed order. It's Aravindakshan TY, Aravindakshan TY, and Aravindakshan et al. And others. Et al. Stands for and others. Then you have the details. So this is the way. Immediately after the cover page, you take the copyright page of the text. And then you can see Cambridge University Press. Take the publisher's name, then year of publication also may be available somewhere. So this is the way you have the option to select the core elements in MLA. So one text with an editor, only one person, CD Narsimha. So Narsimha, CD. So this is the way, and other page also gets you all the details required for making the core elements. So this is the way we did that library visit, and we had the way of doing it. So whichever text you are selecting, you have to try with this. Now back to MLA handbook. So title, how to style it, shorten title. Title, regarding titles also you have to be very careful. What it is. Title of source, where to find it. Title of source, how to style it, where to find it. In the case of a text, it's very easy. But we have other options as well. We have other options like a YouTube video, an article published online, a blog. Then you have to locate the title first. And title of container, what it is. Title of container is works that are self-contained. Self-contained means already the text you are selecting from the text. If it is a novel, that is self-contained text. You don't have any other person who is contributing inside, or a person is compiling someone else, some other people's writings like essays, short stories, poetry. Self-contained texts are almost like novels and short stories collected by the writer himself or herself. That is it. And any other details like title of container, where to find it, where to find the title of container. Also, whenever you get a text, you can definitely find it. And if you find it difficult, you just approach your guides. No problem. You can definitely ask us. And contributor, what it is. Key contributors in the author element, other types of contributors. So contributor is another part. People, groups and organizations can contribute to work. Contributors like translators, editors. That is a contributor element. To take it generally, it can be other ways in which that book is made available, that part is made available for other readers. Like if you don't know Latin, a person who is translating that from Latin to English may be a contributor, because the person is translating it for other people. A wide reach is available. Only because it is available in English that we can read it. So that can be a contribution. Editing a work, different elements, different texts, different writings together, getting compiled together. It's a kind of contribution. Okay, so that's the element of contribution. Then multiple contributors in the same role, repeated personal names in an entry, version number, publisher's name, we have to select it anyway, we have to find it anyway. So version is something different. Version and number, series number, that is most often those elements occur with the journals and all. Some academic journals and all, you find out some versions, elements of versions, number, volumes. In the case of a novel or short story collection, most these elements do not occur. So if it is there, then you have to add it. Otherwise, you don't have to. So sometimes it's good that you go and find out some details, ideas from academic journals. That is more valid. Because that's already on the part of on the side of a research. Those research articles in journals are coming. If that is an approved journal, it's good. UGC recommended, UGC listed journals where you can find all these elements. Okay, publisher, where to find it? Books, website, audio and visual media. Books, in the case of book, it's good. It's easily we can find it out. But in the case of web series and all, is it? Yeah. Books, websites, audio and visual media. Where is it? Sometimes it may likely to cause confusion. Think about a movie. So which element you have to select as if you want to quote a movie? Quote from a movie, a particular character or the dialogue. So accordingly, it differs. In the case of a book, it's easy to find a publisher. And how to publish, how to style it. Means just the way to do it, to get the name. Its capitalization, definitely it is needed. Sometimes there may be co-publishers. Rarely you find out some co-publishers. And many other rare but possible aspects like divisions of non-government organizations as publishers, government agencies as publishers. So if it is coming, then you have to get it. You have to find out with this part, and you have to check this part to see if how to do that and how to style it. City of publication. It's very rare. In the past, in the previous version, even not even in the 8th edition, 7th edition MLA handbook wanted us to, the researchers to locate or to find out the place of publication as well. So it was actually very difficult. Very difficult to locate, but it was must in the former part, in the previous edition, not immediate previous edition, because it's 7th edition MLA. 8th edition onwards, that element got removed. Very important one. It can be taken for granted. It can be It may be helpful for you. Common abbreviations in publishers' names. Approved abbreviations like Oxford University Press, Oxford UP. I think in 7th edition it was permitted to write down OUP. But in the 8th edition onwards, it was must that you write down Oxford in this way itself without shortening. OUP is not approved now. Oxford UP. Cambridge Cambridge University Press. So this is the way. This may be helpful because many of the texts that we opt may be from Oxford University Press. SUNY Press or State University of New York Press. In your entry, in your source, it can be given in this way, but in your entry, it can come in this way. In the source, it is given in this way. Means in the text you see all these in the order. In this, it's in the elaborate form itself. In the source means the text that we select. They won't be getting you this kind of an abbreviated form, shortened form. But we can do that. State SUNY Press or State University of New York Press. So SUNY Press means already they may get it in the shortened order. but we have to make it in this way itself. So that's the approved way. Presses, universities, it's not the language, it's not the English version. Grenoble. So PU, process, PU. Okay, so this is the way some abbreviations are given here as models, but sometimes we have to do it accordingly. If Oxford University Press is given in this way, then Cambridge University Press should go like Cambridge UP. That's the way we have to make use of our logic as well. Okay. Then going back to that list of contents, 10th page. City of publication, publication date, and ebooks. No. What it is? Publication date we have seen with yes, this one. Common abbreviations in publishers' names, right? Then signs in publishers' name. So ampersands and plus signs in publishers' name. If there are such varieties, such differences come, then you may go for that. Otherwise, you can leave it. Name in prose, change an ampersand or plus sign to the publisher's name in your list book cited. Yeah, this one. Like if you have such and such, just wait. So if you have such a signs in your source, you have to get it in this way itself. So we don't have that option. So sometimes it is not at all about shortening, but giving it as it is recommended by MLA handbook style. That's the way you have to do it. So whenever you have a doubt, everything is given with that much detail here. In detail here. So here 5.6. Yeah. 5.66. Then publication date, what it is. Publication date, where to find it. Mainly about the year of publication. And in the case of these different types of text, in the case of books, it's easy. E-books. Sometimes you may find it difficult to locate. So you have to go immediately. If you are using an e-book, it's good that you check out the details here in this part. News articles, journal articles. Sometimes you may be quoting from a news paper report, article. You know how many sometimes in the weekend day weekend special edition, special pages of newspapers. You have a lot of very academically contributory, very important, relevant essays and all, relevant articles coming. So sometimes you may find it relevant to your own writing. You have to quote it. Should not stay away saying that no, it's easy to quote a book, not this kind of a source. So I don't have an idea, and so that let me leave it. No. Now you have the option. Everything is given in detail. If it is an ebook with you, you should not stay back. If it is a news article, you have the option. You have to find all the elements, all the methods here in MLA handbook in detail. That's the difference between the former edition and this one. Not even the methodology, but the way things are given finds a lot of difference. Like you have a very minute description of each and every element here. Even music, from a musical composition, how to find elements, government documents, television episodes, some of the performances, some of the characters, their dialogues, you find very relevant. When you take that, you have to code that, and the methods of doing it may be given here. Publication date, how to style it, year, season, time, date range. Year, most often we get the year. So sometimes with the season, because of the article journals, not just some four times in a year. They go for the volume 1, volume 2 from January to March or January to April. So this is the way sometimes they publish it in a cyclic way. So they have some editions, like sometimes they have a kind of publication in that way. So time, date range, time. Sometimes maybe with some online publications, the time of publication. Even just think about the Google Classroom. You have the date given there. 1 day ago, 2 days ago. Sometimes then after some 5 or 6 days, immediate they start showing the date of publication. The approximate date given in source, uncertain date given in source, approximate date, uncertain date. Sometimes you have approximate date only. So what it is, location, what it is, what to find. So location, page numbers, online works. So in the case of e-books, you find it very difficult. Sometimes it's only location, not the page number as you find it in the text. Sometimes it's only location. Locations change accordingly. That's the person. So regarding location, online works, sometimes online works and all, it's not that easy as you find out with a book. So there you have to go for this reference, for to find it and how to style it. Where to find and how to style it means in the work cited list entry, the way to do this, way to give it. Only one element demands italicizing. But some elements demand double quote, some elements after one element, sometimes it is full stop, sometimes it is comma. So instead of a comma, you cannot use a full stop. So that's the part where everywhere this word to how to style it becomes important. Location, inclusive pages, descriptive label before page numbers, numerals for page numbers, plus sign with the page number. DOI permalinks URLs, very important, and we have to discuss this in the next session. Coming sessions, we have to discuss this in detail, because in the as it is an online platform, online time, most of you may be accessing many of the internet resources more than. So when you compare, if you take the statistics, in the past it was some 10 books, the ratio was between 10 to 10 is to 3. 10 books you select with 10 print text and some 3 or 4 online resources. But nowadays it is reverse, and sometimes most often the resources, secondary resources, at least even the primary sources, are from online platforms. So this really good that you have a clear cut idea how to make use of the permalinks or DOI, URL, resource locating, universal resource locator. So this is way we have to discuss that in detail, and that will help you to find out the proper way of citing such resources in your text, in your thesis writing. Okay, so those elements and the other part, we shall continue our discussion in the next session, and then the important part shall be discussed, like citing sources in the text, in the coming sessions as such. Thank you so much for listening.